All right, I'll call the,
Hello, Bernie.
you guys ready? I'm gonna call the police, St. John Metropolitan Police Commission meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance, everybody stand, face the flag. Right there. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Bernie Johnson.
Here.
Rob Kometz.
Here.
Justin Nestor is absent. Randy Palmetier here. Ray Perdicio.
Here.
Election of officers, I nominate Ray Perdicio for president.
The second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I need a nomination for vice president.
I nominate Randy Palmetier for vice president.
Do I have
I second it.
a motion and a second for myself as vice president? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'm handing it over to you, Ray, president.
All right, with police reports, chief?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll give November's, being that we didn't have that meeting on December, and then I'll give December's right after that.
Okay.
So from November 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2023, the members of St. John Police Department logged 23,000 miles and responded to 507 law incidents. The investigation of these incidents led to 34 arrests with 66 charges being filed. There were 169 traffic citations issued, along with 415 written warnings, for a total of 584 citations being issued during the month. Vehicle thefts totaled 0. Other thefts totaled 100, and recovered property was 600. And right below that, you'll see what those items were: some food that was stolen from the grocery store and a couple of electronics that were recovered. And then for the month of December 2023 through the 31st, the members of the St. John Police Department logged 21,000 miles, 21,139 miles, and responded to 498 law incidents. The investigation of these incidents led to 27 arrests with 53 charges being filed. There were 115 traffic citations issued, along with 313 written warnings, for a total of 428 citations being issued during the month. Vehicle thefts totaled 0. Other thefts were 3,804, and recovered property was 3,457. And I think in your reports, if you flip over to the next page, it kind of describes what those items were as far as what was stolen and what was recovered through the miscellaneous cases. For 2023, all the officers completed all their training, required training throughout the year. As you know, there's 24 hours that's required for each officer at a minimum, which a lot of those are mandatory training, such as firearms, EVO, which is the emergency driving, use of force, and so on and so forth. And there's a number of other training that they attended as well throughout the year. So we had the addition of one of our officers just finished up the academy back in November. He's on his own now, doing well. So we're at 27 officers. So starting January 1, being that we were able to get him, we were able to increase our minimum manning to 3 per shift. For the longest time, we were at 2, so now that we got him, we were able to move it up to 3. So that's kind of where we're at for now. Hopefully, in the next few years or so, we can try to get that to 4. So, but so far so good. I just want to welcome the new members that are here. Look forward to working with you all, and look for a good year.
Any new business?
Yeah, Mr. President, I just want to recognize, I should have did it before, Councilman Jorgensen, Councilman Bovat, and Town Manager Billy Manisopoulos are in attendance for the minutes.
So noted. I have one question for you, Chief. It's not in a new business, more like old business from a long time ago. The private school that was looking for an officer and willing to pay for him, whatever happened with that?
He's working in the school.
So we have that officer in that school?
He is, yes.
Okay, good.
Yep, and that's going well. He's been pretty busy, doing a lot of updates with their security plans there. He's had a lot of case sheets and things that he's taken care of there so far, but it's going good.
Good. Glad to hear that. Okay, any other new business? I don't think we'll have any other old business unless anybody has any questions they'd like to ask.
Actually, I do have something under new business. The board's pleasure, I'd like to make a motion that we move the meetings up to 4 PM first Wednesday of every month, if that's okay.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 4-0. I'd like to have a motion for if there's no other new business or old business.
Motion
I'd
to
like
adjourn.
Hold on, Mr. President, if you don't mind, Mr. Vice President, I just had a couple questions. For the chief primarily. First, is there a list of grants? I don't know who's working for grants in the department now as far as what's upcoming in 2024. And then also, and I haven't looked at it myself, so I haven't yet seen it. We're obviously brand new. What the overtime is and what the overtime projection is. So I don't know if you can speak on that now. I don't want to put you on the spot. You weren't expecting it. But perhaps you could provide it to the commission for the next one.
Okay.
I'm interested in it only because, I mean, grants are important.
Mhm.
And they put our guys out there and offer a lot of benefits. The overtime, and this could or could not be true, has been a bit of an issue over the last year. I don't know if that was a budgeting issue on the council's part or what was going on. But if you could shed some light on that. So we, as a council, once the commission handles it and talks to you about it, maybe we can rectify the situation with Billy and the rest of us and try to get that number down if it is in fact as high as I had heard it was.
So we were budgeted like $60,000 for overtime. The reason they did that is because our minimum, our comp time that we were allowed to bank was dropped to 100. Because we had so many officers that were, they had so much they had 400 some hours of comp time. So that all got paid out, and they said, you can't go over 100 hours anymore. So the officers that were getting already at 100, anything above that obviously is overtime. So they were, in lieu of them keep getting the comp time, they gave us overtime money instead of
Right.
getting the comp time.
Well, the comp time gets banked. I mean, I can understand why the officers want comp time because you can bank it to the very end.
Right.
Where overtime is a little bit different. Is there an amount that we know that we spent under that scheme with comp time versus overtime? What we spent on each for 2023?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was, you mean the stuff that was paid out?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have that. Beth has that. We were working with her when this all came about. So, yeah, we do have those figures.
Because I can imagine the guys don't want to get rid of comp time. I understand why it's desirable. Bernie, you're probably familiar with it too, right?
Affirmative.
But if there's a way we can try to manage some costs, because I don't know what the final number was last year for OT. And I could be wrong, because I don't know. And Mike, I don't know if you know, or Billy, you even know yet. I don't know. So, and again, I'm just asking. That's only what I heard, is that
Well,
overtime was slightly inflated. Maybe there's a way we can manipulate the comp and the overtime to kind of manage that until we get to more officers. My goal, of course, would be at least get you at least an officer a year. I think that's reasonable. I don't know. I haven't spoken to my fellow councilman about that. It was always something that, I would want to do. It'd be great if we could do more. I don't think the town can handle it. I don't think the town could handle it this year. But if there are ways we can manage that cost and keep the officers happy, that would be good.
Right.
But maybe there's a compromise we can reach there.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. Said a lot of this, the overtime that we had, we were doing some of the extra patrols that we were doing throughout the year with the countywide and in town, and then any shifts that needed to be covered once we dropped to minimum standards. So that's basically what that was for. Prior to that, our overtime budget many years was $5,000 a year, which is nothing.
Right.
And quite frankly, $60,000 compared to what all other agencies get, 60,000 is nothing. Like you asked Dyer, they get, I think, 100 and some thousand. Cherville's way up there. 60,000 is pretty low. So, we do our best to manage that. And then with this year, I am going to be monitoring it a little more because of the minimum of 3. So I want to see how that's going to work as far as how many times we drop below to where we have to call an officer in to pay overtime to cover that. I don't think it's going to be grotesque. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. But, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. We are going to cut back on the county-wide ones that we're doing, just to monitor that overtime, just to see how it's going to work this year. So,
Okay, and I wonder if there's grants for that, because I know there's some grants that they propose for that kind of stuff too, countywide. as
no,
well.
that's just something that we do.
Just collectively?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. And,
Yeah.
and then, all I'm thinking, and I'm just spitballing here too, is that there's a possibility if what you need is another officer, and even with salary and benefits, that could possibly be less than the OT time we would need to pay over an entire year, just if we had more manpower right away. But if that would alleviate the problem, it would be a cost-saving device throughout the year. I mean, that's a possibility too, and it's something for the council to consider as a first item of business, rather than something that we wait all year long.
Right.
And again, I'm just spitballing, and I haven't seen any of the numbers yet. But if there's some way we can do that to manage it and then help the department that way, it might be more efficient for us to put money into another officer rather than, more OT over the rest of the year.
Me personally, just looking at the figures now, I think it'd be way more expensive.
Okay,
Well, at least the first year for an officer, because you're looking at 130,000 year one,
right.
as
right,
opposed to 60. I mean,
Right.
And
That's
then-
true. Okay, so maybe it is that we would have to look at it over, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year term, and see how that would, because nothing gets cheaper.
right.
I'm just looking for ways, some efficiencies that way.
No,
And
that's
then if we can beef up the department and keep it economical and look at it from, a 3-year standpoint, or maybe even a 4-year standpoint during our term, and say, okay, we want to make a priority of hiring an officer, at this date, at this date, at this date, given the amount of time it's going to take, we got to get up and train them, or we get laterals, which we shouldn't have a problem with, since we
Yeah,
pay more than anybody else does anyway.
right.
Hell, I go into Alberts, and those guys are like, yeah, St. John looking for us. Look, got any openings now?
yeah.
Where are we gonna go? It's not like we won't have enough applicants. But I'm just curious about doing that. And again, I don't know, and I haven't seen those numbers. Nobody was supplying them to me yet. So now I'm sure Beth would. But maybe by next meeting we can take a look at it and figure out a way to do it.
Okay.
When I came on in 1976, I was number 7th guy. And I've been gone 10, I had 37, so in 47 years, they've only added 20 policemen in 47 years. And that's like sad, right? That many years you only added 20 more guys, right? And
Commissioner, we're on the record.
I know that. That's true. I mean, and that's why I want to on the
Gavel the
record, because that's
meeting.
the truth. But you got to have, officer safety, you got to have 3 guys. I mean, you really do. When I came on, it was 1 guy a shift, and Cherville had 1 guy, I had 1 guy, Dyer had 1 guy, and we depended on each other for backup, and you needed backup. You can't, I don't care where you get killed anywhere. Larimer and Strew proved that behind Coling School in 1972. So you can get killed anywhere. Crime, it does take no vacations, and crime doesn't stay north of Ridge Road, right? It does not. And so I talked to Randy, and I said, because I think Mike Brown had mentioned, you guys have any goals, or are you just going to sit there, right? And I said, no. Randy and I, we'd like to propose to the council and the rest of the commission at some point to add at least a guy, maybe 2 guys. I would tell you, Chief would know better because he does his own budget, but you are better off hiring a policeman than put all this money into overtime. I just think you are, and you got to build your department, because if you don't change something, everything stays the same, and either go forward or backward. You just can't stay an even keel. So I think as a town council person, that is unbelievable that I actually heard that from, that you wanted add a policeman. All the years ago, you had to fight to get a policeman. I mean, and eventually I had to fight to keep my job, so I did a lot of fighting. But, yeah, that's great. If you could somehow, and you're right, I talk to policemen at the county all the time, and they want to come to St. John all the time. All they want to do is train patches, go on a quick FTO program to learn the streets, bam, they're en route to a call. And I think if you could swing it, long run, you'd save money. You would, because what happens is when you have a lot of comp time, then you have no coverage on the street. Then to get coverage on the street, you got to pay the guys to be there.
Overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, so your idea is a workable idea, and I think if you could do that, you'd save money, you get one
In the long
guy,
run, yeah,
and you
for
cut your
sure.
overtime down. In the long run, the big picture, you will save money for the town. Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly what I was trying to get at. You said more eloquently than I did, is that we just need a plan that shows over the period of years what the cost saving is. Because, right, we're not gonna see it the first year.
Nope.
It's just not gonna happen. But you gotta invest in the guys to do it and then the time.
Sure.
So if we say, okay, really, and given our population growth, which, heck, I don't even know what is our population now?
Probably about 24,000.
Yeah, 24,000? I don't even know what the standards are for.
Going up, I mean, it's not
Oh,
like it's
yeah,
going down.
the rule, the FBI has the rule, how many cops you need per person, we're behind.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
it's,
were always behind,
Yeah.
and I knew we were, and I didn't know how far we were getting behind given the new population growth since I.
so the FBI standard, kind of the unwritten rule for every 1,000 residents you have is 2 officers.
Yep.
So we should be at 48 according to the FBI, and we're at 27.
Sounds like correctional officers in the county.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if we could put something like that together, then it's manageable, and, you know, when we discuss it in the exec session and bring it before the public and say, okay, yeah, we are investing now. This costs money up front, but look at where you're going to be
Right.
in 4 years, and this is where we want us to be in 4 years during our term. It makes a heck of a lot more sense.
Well, it's like buying a house, right? What do you have better, buying that house and having equity, or just paying rent? And over time, you're renting police.
Yeah.
You're not building nothing.
Yeah.
So putting guys on is the way to go. And I know our council can do it. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
No, it makes
Anyway,
sense.
I'd like to see it. So
Yeah, for
whoever,
sure.
and whatever staff you need from the town council or anything like that to work with you, I mean, just let me know. You
Yeah.
probably have enough guys, but whatever like that. But that's what I like to see, and that's kind of what I thought. And
No, I can-
I'm with Commissioner.
We can easily put that together for you, for sure. yeah,
and
with
I
the
think-
numbers.
And we can put a plan together. And then we can get it
Absolutely.
Before the council, with a recommendation from, you know, the president or the vice president, any of you guys, and the chief at some time, and try to put that together fiscally with Billy and figure out what we're gonna get.
Here's something that nobody else knows but me. I see police reports from every police department in Lake County, and a lot of them are very serious crimes. I get one-page reports from certain departments on murders, one page, right? I would tell you this, the best police reports that I have reviewed, and yeah, I'm partial because I came from here. St. John, they're number one. They even use good grammar. I mean, they get that, really, yeah, there ain't no that their car was, running, So you got some really good policemen here. You want to keep them, and you pay them well, there's no doubt. And we got that high, because when I was the chief, and I had friends on the town council, so Dave Bilski was here and those guys, and they gave us 10%, 8% every year for like 4 years, and nobody ever caught us after that. The other towns never caught us, and that's how we got to be the highest paid, when I had my crew, calling the shots for the police department. And this council, I think, will be better for the police department than past councils, only because I know the policemen, and I know the people. And I know you, I know Randall, and I've met these fine gentlemen, and I'm pretty sure, I have to talk to the town board president, he talks to people with an empty glass, not a full glass. So I think this council gives the department hope, make it a better department. And don't rent a cop, buy a cop.
Agreed, and that was my thought.
Motion to adjourn?
I I want to make a motion to dismiss Randy from the commission.
Get in line.
Like to make a motion to adjourn?
Second it.